All right, so we're diving deep into Walter Isaacson's biography of Elon Musk, trying to figure out, what makes this guy tick.
Well, it's fascinating. Isaacson really pulls back the curtain, I think, to reveal how this driven individual came to be. The book really goes deep into Musk's past, exploring, a childhood full of challenges, really starting with his family life back in South Africa.
His upbringing definitely wasn't a walk in the park.
Right.
All right.
Isaacson talks about young Elon dealing with loneliness and being bullied. And then, of course, there's that complicated relationship with his father, Errol.
Yeah, Errol. I mean, the book paints a pretty vivid picture of him
Yeah.
as this, strict and often emotionally distant figure. There's this really telling anecdote that Isaacson shares, where Errol refuses to take young Elon to Disney World, opts for a cheaper water park instead. And
Wow.
you can really see how this constant, disappointment from his father might have pushed Musk to seek validation elsewhere, and ultimately contributing to his relentless drive for achievement. It does seem like a pattern, this emotional neglect kind of fueling this desire to prove himself, almost as if he's constantly trying to fill this void.
That's a really insightful observation. And actually, even Grimes, the mother of three of his children, she observes in the book that I think he got conditioned in childhood that life is pain,
Right.
which really just underscores, I think, the impact of those early experiences.
It's heavy stuff.
Mm.
And speaking of, things having a lasting impact, Isaacson traces Musk's, adventurous spirit back to his grandfather, his mother's father, Joshua Holdeman. A real daredevil, broke in horses, bartered chiropractic adjustments for food and lodging.
A true adventurer.
That daring spirit really seems to have skipped a generation
Yeah.
and landed right with Elon.
Absolutely. It's so interesting how these inherited tendencies mix with personal experiences.
Yeah.
And really shake a person's path. And I think Musk's comfort with risk, his tendency to actually amplify it, which is how a former PayPal colleague, Roelof Botha, puts it, is a defining characteristic for sure.
So instead of, trying to mitigate risk like a lot of entrepreneurs might do, he kind of leans into it, almost like he's, courting danger.
It's like he believes that by burning bridges, there's no going back, and it forces him to succeed.
Precisely. This approach to risk, you see it in his businesses, of course, in his personal life. Even in little anecdotes like that high-stakes poker game he played with those former PayPal colleagues, he goes all in,
Every single,
all in,
every,
every time.
all in.
But this boldness, it often comes with a real struggle to let go of control. Throughout his career, Musk has clashed with CEOs and colleagues over and over again, often leading to him taking the reins to maintain, absolute authority over his vision.
He's not just a visionary, though, right? He's an engineer. At his core, he needs to be hands-on, involved in the technical details, pushing his teams to achieve these seemingly impossible things. And I think that often translates into this reluctance to delegate, to share power, and that can lead to friction.
For sure. Just look at his conflicts with Martin Eberhard at Tesla, Max Levchin at PayPal, or the power struggles that happened at Zip2. There seems to be this pattern of him assuming control to protect his ideas, to ensure they're executed his way.
Right, and it raises a really important question. Is it solely about realizing his vision? Or is there this element of, needing to dominate? As Musk himself admits in the biography, I never wanted to be a CEO, but I learned that you could not truly be the chief technology or product officer unless you were the CEO.
It's about the power then,
Yeah.
not necessarily the title itself. The power to execute his vision without compromise. And we really see that reflected in his management style too,
Yeah.
which Isaacson describes as, intense,
Uh-huh.
demanding, a constant fire drill.
Oh, absolutely. High expectations, relentless focus on speed and efficiency, willingness to challenge norms. He's not afraid to ruffle feathers, to push people beyond their comfort zones, even to the point of burnout sometimes.
Isaacson even describes this incident, where Musk is questioning an engineer about a component, using what he calls the asshole question, basically forcing this engineer to justify every single decision, every material choice.
It gives you a peek into his demanding approach. It's a constant pressure cooker, one that yields extraordinary results. But it definitely comes at a human cost. The book reveals pretty high turnover at his companies. Some employees describe a culture of fear, of stress.
It is fascinating how Musk's brilliance is so tied to these really challenging personality traits. But amidst the, demanding leadership, the drive to innovate, There's this real profound sense of mission. It permeates all of his endeavors.
Absolutely. He's not just, building companies. He's trying to solve existential threats, whether it's accelerating sustainable energy with Tesla, making humanity multiplanetary with SpaceX, or developing beneficial AI with Neuralink. There's this deep-seated belief that he's working to protect humanity's future.
It's a grand vision for sure, a
Yeah.
sense of purpose. He's even quoted as saying, if we are able to go to other planets, the probable lifespan of human civilization will be much greater.
It's an inspiring thought in some ways, right?
But this relentless drive, this, almost messianic zeal to save humanity, doesn't come without a personal cost. The biography shows how it affects his relationships, his mental well-being, even his public image.
Isaacson doesn't shy away from portraying those more vulnerable sides of Musk. You see glimpses of depression, loneliness, and this recurring struggle to maintain healthy relationships. The weight of his ambition, the pressure he puts on himself, it clearly has consequences. And it's actually in these moments of vulnerability that I think Isaacson's book really shines. He peels back the layers, exposing those complexities and contradictions that make Elon Musk such a compelling figure. We see the genius, the ambition, the drive, but also the flaws, the vulnerabilities, the very human cost of this relentless pursuit of progress. So I think we've got a pretty good handle on Elon's personality now and what drives him. Let's dig into the specifics of his ventures a bit, shall we? Starting with the incredibly ambitious SpaceX.
Right, this company, known for reusable rockets, plans to colonize Mars,
Yeah.
it actually had a pretty whimsical beginning. Isaacson reveals that Musk's initial idea wasn't about starting a rocket company at all. It was more of a philanthropic mission.
Instead of launching satellites into orbit, his first concept was actually sending a miniature greenhouse to Mars, the goal. To capture images of plants thriving on the red planet, hoping to inspire, public support, and more funding for NASA.
It's a really interesting idea, this blend of science spectacle and a bit of idealism. But this seemingly simple project, was it really driven by something much bigger?
Oh, for sure. Musk was deeply troubled by the idea of human consciousness being wiped out. He's fascinated by Fermi's paradox. That whole contradiction between the high probability of alien life existing out there and the fact that we haven't found any evidence of it yet. He sees colonizing other planets as like the ultimate insurance policy for humanity's survival.
So the greenhouse was more of a stepping stone, a way to spark the public's imagination and pave the way for these grand ambitions of, settling on other planets. But as with any ambitious endeavor, there were obstacles along the way.
Isaacson tells the story of Musk's early attempts to acquire affordable rockets from Russia, which turned into a series of comical mishaps. Just imagine this, a scene with a toothless Russian official spitting at Musk during a pitch meeting. Talk about culture clash.
It sounds like something out of a spy movie, high stakes mixed with absurd humor.
Right. But even with these setbacks, Musk didn't give up. He put together this brilliant team of engineers, secured funding, and in the end, built a company that defied expectations. His determination to make space exploration accessible and affordable, that was the driving force.
And speaking of driving forces, his partnership with Tom Mueller, SpaceX's first employee, provides some real insight into Musk's views on loyalty and commitment. Mueller, a veteran rocket engineer, insisted on putting 2 years' worth of his salary into escrow because he didn't want to risk going unpaid if the venture failed.
It seems like a practical request, right? But it actually created some friction with Musk, who saw it as a lack of faith in the company's mission. For him, true dedication meant putting everything on the line, aligning your own financial risk with your belief in the vision.
It's that all-in mentality. It goes beyond the initial investment there, right?
Yeah.
Musk's constant pursuit of efficiency, this obsession with cutting costs and streamlining processes, it became a defining characteristic of SpaceX's culture.
He would constantly challenge his engineers to find cheaper ways of doing things, sourcing components from unusual places, questioning established practices. Isaacson even talks about one instance where a $1,500 latch from NASA was replaced with a $30 bathroom stall latch. Talk about ingenuity driven by thriftiness.
That's a great example of his practical approach, willing to challenge conventions. And this willingness to take risks, it extended beyond cost-cutting too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine this. Cutting a piece off the Falcon 9's engine skirt just one day before a critical launch because of a couple of cracks. That's the kind of audacious risk-taking that sometimes bordered on recklessness, which really defines his leadership.
From space ventures, let's shift gears to a company that's become synonymous with electric vehicles, Tesla. This endeavor represents a particularly turbulent chapter in Musk's journey, highlighting both his genius and his proclivity for conflict.
Tesla embodies both the brilliance and the flaws, I think. It's a story of disruption, of innovation, and near constant turmoil, all fueled by this relentless drive and this need to be in control.
His conflict with Martin Eberhard, Tesla's co-founder and original CEO, really highlights how Musk's desire for control can create these clashes.
The book really details this escalating tension between the two, with Musk's increasing involvement in design and engineering decisions ultimately leading to Eberhard being ousted. It really underscores his struggle to share power, this conviction that he needs to be at the helm to realize his vision.
But it wasn't just about control, though, was it? Musk's vision for Tesla diverged from Eberhard's in a pretty fundamental way. He wanted to build more than just a sleek electric car. He aimed to create a vertically integrated company, controlling the entire process from battery cells to the finished vehicle.
It was strategic, a long-term vision. Musk understood that relying on external suppliers would limit their ability to innovate and scale up production efficiently.
His purchase of the former Toyota factory in Fremont, California is a perfect example of this. He transformed this huge facility into a cutting-edge manufacturing hub, ensuring he had control over every single step of production.
It was bold. Securing a massive factory at a fraction of the original price, it really shows his foresight.
And that thing about him insisting on having the engineers' cubicles right there on the factory floor, within earshot of the assembly lines, that's classic Elon, isn't it?
Totally. It's a deliberate strategy, keeps everyone connected to the realities of production, ensures that there's this direct link between design and implementation.
But that relentless push for speed and efficiency, that constant pressure cooker environment, it has a cost. We see that with the high turnover rates, the burnout, the struggles some employees face with their physical and mental health.
That's the downside. The human price paid for achieving such lofty goals. Isaacson doesn't gloss over it. He talks about the burnout, the stress, the fear some employees felt working under him.
And the impact on his personal life, the failed marriages, the strained relationships, the moments of vulnerability, the depression. It really paints a picture of a man struggling to find balance in the chaos he created.
It's in these moments of vulnerability that Isaacson's book really excels, peeling back those layers, exposing the complexities, the contradictions that make Elon Musk such a captivating figure. We see the genius, the ambition, the drive, but also the flaws, the vulnerabilities, the very human cost of his constant pursuit of progress.
So we've explored his past, dug into his ventures, seen his accomplishments, and acknowledged the struggles he's faced. But now let's try and answer the question that's puzzled so many. What exactly fuels Elon Musk's insatiable drive? Is it just pure ambition, a need to, cement his legacy? Or is there something deeper at play?
Well, Isaacson's biography offers some really interesting insights on this, I think. One recurring theme is Musk's fear of the potential threat artificial intelligence poses to humanity. He actually sees it as an existential risk, a force that could wipe us out if we're not careful.
It seems a little ironic, doesn't it? The guy at the forefront of AI development, with Neuralink, is also deeply afraid of it.
It speaks to how complex his thinking is, I think. He recognizes the potential benefits of AI while also being acutely aware of the inherent dangers. And it's this awareness, this sense of urgency, that fuels his drive to develop AI in a way that aligns with human values, to make sure we maintain control over this powerful technology.
So his ambitions go beyond just, creating cool tech.
Yeah.
He's on a mission to save us from a potential robot apocalypse.
He sees it as a race against time, to steer AI development in a direction that benefits humanity and prevents its potential for destruction. Remember that analogy he uses, the delicate candle of consciousness. He truly believes that AI has the power to extinguish that candle if we're not careful.
Taking on the responsibility for humanity's fate, that's got to be a heavy burden.
Yeah.
Maybe that explains his intensity, his unwavering commitment.
This intensity, this relentless pursuit of progress, it shows up in his management style too. Isaacson describes it as a constant fire drill, a seemingly chaotic but surprisingly effective approach to problem-solving and innovation. He thrives in this high-pressure environment, pushing his teams to their limits, prioritizing speed and efficiency above all else.
It's not for everyone, though. We've talked about how this approach can lead to employee burnout, conflict, even a culture of fear sometimes. But there's no denying it's effective. Look at what he's achieved with SpaceX, Tesla, even the Boring Company.
It's a trade-off, I think. He sets a demanding pace, expects total dedication from his teams, but he also inspires them to achieve incredible things for a lot of his employees. The opportunity to be a part of his audacious vision outweighs the challenges.
And this sense of purpose, this mission-driven approach, It extends beyond his companies as well. Isaacson highlights his growing concern with political polarization, specifically what he calls the woke mind virus plaguing America. This concern ultimately led him to acquire Twitter, with the idea that he could turn it into a haven for free speech and open
It
dialogue.
was a bold move and a controversial one for sure. It
Yeah.
shows his willingness to tackle these really complex societal issues, even outside his usual realm of expertise. He sees Twitter as this digital battleground for the future of democracy, a platform where ideas can be exchanged freely, without censorship or manipulation.
His vision, while idealistic, has been met with mixed reactions. Critics say his approach to free speech is naive, that it could lead to the spread of misinformation and hate speech. Supporters praise his courage in challenging the status quo, his efforts to create a more transparent and open online space.
Only time will tell what the ultimate impact of his Twitter acquisition will be. But it's another example of his audacity, his refusal to back down from controversy, his unwavering belief in his own ability to make a difference, even in areas where others have failed.
So after immersing ourselves in the world of Elon Musk, what can we say? Is he a visionary genius? A reckless maverick? A troubled soul? Or maybe a complex mix of all of these?
I don't think he fits neatly into any one category. He's a man of many contradictions, driven by ambition, fear, and a deep sense of purpose. His experiences have made him who he is, blending brilliance with flaws.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to remember the bigger picture. He's more than just a tech CEO. He's a cultural icon, a symbol of our times, embodying both our hopes and anxieties about the future.
His successes, his failures, his triumphs, his controversies, they all reflect our own values, our aspirations, our fears as we navigate this uncharted territory of technological advancement and societal change.
Perhaps the most valuable lesson from Isaacson's book is this. It's not just a biography of Elon Musk. It's a story that speaks to all of us, exploring the possibilities and challenges we face in this age of unprecedented change.
Let's try and distill the key insights from our exploration into 10 points, shall we, for you to think about.
Okay, great. So first, Elon Musk's childhood, marked by loneliness and bullying, instilled in him this extraordinary resilience and a relentless drive to succeed.
Second, his adventurous spirit, inherited from his daredevil grandfather, led him to embrace risk and pursue ambitious goals with unwavering determination.
Third, his struggles with control and power caused conflict and ultimately pushed him to take charge in his ventures.
Fourth, his unique combination of visionary thinking and engineering expertise allowed him to challenge conventions and achieve the seemingly impossible.
Fifth, a profound sense of mission drives all his endeavors, aiming to solve existential threats and safeguard humanity's future through sustainable energy, space exploration, and beneficial AI.
Sixth, his demanding work ethic and controversial actions have come at a personal cost, affecting his relationships, mental well-being, and public image.
Seventh, the biography reveals moments of vulnerability, depression, and loneliness behind his public persona, highlighting the human cost of his ambition.
Eighth, his management style is characterized by intensity, high expectations, a focus on speed and efficiency, and a willingness to challenge norms.
Ninth, his complex relationship with his father continues to shape his motivations, fueling a desire for connection while battling past trauma.
And finally, 10th, his impact on technology innovation in the future is undeniable. But the ethical implications of his actions raise important questions about the price of ambition.
So there you have it, a glimpse into the world of Elon Musk, a journey that's taken us from the streets of Pretoria to the launch pads of SpaceX, from the factories of Tesla to the chaotic realm of Twitter.
As you continue to watch his story unfold, keep this in mind. Elon Musk is more than just a man. He's a force of nature, a catalyst for disruption, a mirror reflecting our collective dreams and anxieties about the future.
Keep observing, keep questioning, keep exploring, because when it comes to Elon Musk, the only constant is change, and the future is always just around the corner.